Hello everyone, so in this video we're going to talk about some basic ways to manipulate or to work with dates and times in PHP or PDO. Okay, so here's the content. First you need to learn a little bit about the basic symbols. I will show you the links, and then we're going to do to create dates and times, and then how to add and subtract date and time, modify, and finally calculate the differences between dates and times. Alright, so the first thing is that in order to work with dates and times in PHP, you need to get to know some very basic symbol. So just copy this one, paste in, and here you will see that we have a number of symbol, and like D and J for day, with or without 2 digits, something like this, and S for ordinal suffix for the day of the month, something like this, and then F and M for January or Jan in short and stuff like that for month. Okay, in year we also have some time zone and so on. So these are very basic symbols that you need to master before we continue our programming with the dates and times. Alright, so let's start with the first thing we want to do is that create date. How to create date. So in PHP we talk about creating dates in procedural and object-oriented styles. In other words, there are 2 different ways that you can approach in creating dates and times. So let's talk about the procedural. If you just want to create dates like this, it's fine. You can use the function dates create. But in object-oriented style, you can just use the word new. Okay, and you just go ahead and use the word new, and there you have date times, and you just enter your date. Now you can notice that this is the format of the date that we enter in default, like year, month, and then day. But you can also specify the format specifically as you want by using the function date create from format in procedural style, or we use datetime created from format in object-oriented style. And this is the second method that you can use to create dates in PHP. With this second method, you will specify the date format at the time you create a date. Now, in order to echo the date into the browser, if you are doing coding with the procedural style, you will use date format. But if you're doing with object-oriented style, you will just go ahead and use date and then arrow and then format. Alright, that's the way we do with object-oriented style. So let's go ahead and try this one. For example, object-oriented style. Now I have a PHP file over here with index.php. There's nothing there, just to illustrate the results. For example, I just copy this and I'll just paste it in here. Now I'll save it and reload the page. Oh yeah, I didn't copy the echo. Yep, we want the echo as well. Okay, and we'll just reload it, and there we go. So you got the date. You can change this one into day, month, and year if you like. Alright, and stuff like that. So this is the one way to create. So now you already know we have two different approaches to creating date: procedural and object-oriented, and then we echo it into the browser. And another way to create dates is to use the Unix timestamp function. Here we have the time and the string to time, so they're basically the same thing. They work with the Unix timestamp, which calculate the total seconds from January 1st, 1970. So that's the way it is. For example, so I have now here, right, and then I'm going to echo now into the browser so we see what it is. So this is the total seconds. All right, so this is the Unix timestamp. Now we can convert this into the date and time in the format we want using the function date. All right, so and this is the format of a date. You need to refer back to all of the symbol here to know what it is. We're not going to repeat that, but yeah. All right, let's just go ahead. So we want to echo this one out. We can just copy it, spat it into something like this. All right. Now we just refresh the page, and I will see we got a Sunday, 2nd of January 2022, and at PM. Alright, so it's working. If we don't like time, we can try to do the string to time, and instead of saying now, right, we should get the same result. Yep. And basically the same. This is just different in terms of the minutes and seconds. Yep. So the result is the same. So that is another way that you can do to create dates from the Unix timestamp. All right. Another interesting feature of the string to time is that instead of seeing now, we can do something like yesterday, because the string to time can parse English words into date and time. So simply let's do yesterday, and let's do yesterday, and we're gonna echo yesterday. Okay, and then we see this yesterday is Saturday, the 1st of January, and it's 12 AM. This is start. Okay, things we want to talk about today, which is add and subtract date. So again, there's two different ways. If you're doing procedural or object-oriented style. Object-oriented. Okay. So if we want to add date in the procedure style, you use date add, but in however in object-oriented, we're gonna use day arrow and then adds. Let's just make it smaller so you can see clearer. Yeah, so we will need date and then arrow and then add, and then you have a whole bunch of things like date interval create from date string. Yeah, that's what we need to do with the procedure. But in object-oriented, it's simpler. I think we just have they add new and then this one. Remember, we got P here. So this is year, this is month, this is day, this is time zone, this is hour, minutes, and second. And the same thing for the format, day format for procedure, and days arrow format for object-oriented. All right, so the same thing we can talk about if we can use if we are to subtract days, right? So instead of saying day add, you can just go ahead and say day sub, same thing here as well. So instead of day add, we can use day sub. Basically we'll generate the same results, right? Okay, next let's do the modify date. If you have a date here and you want to modify, in procedure you use day modify, and in object oriented you use day arrow modify, and then you can just say plus 3 days for example, or plus 1 day, and then echo it out into the browser. Again, they modify for this and they modify for this. Okay, the next thing is that to calculate the date in time difference. So we create a date in the past, just say in the past, and then we have a date in the present or the future, whatever you call it, and then we got a difference, so past and present. All right, so the function here is to use date difference. That's the function for procedure, and then for object-oriented style we have past. We can actually use it as diff, it's make no difference, so it's diff. But the thing is that we're gonna use arrow and then diff. That's what we are going to do for the object-oriented style. And then basically you just echo out the dates. Alright, how about I just copy this one and paste it to see the browser. So for example, I would say this is like the first day of 2022, for example, and I want to see how many days difference between the 2 days. We all know it is two days, right? Just want to see it in the browser. So when I go ahead, have a look here, we need a arrow, and we see the result is 2 days. Okay, so that's it. So I hope in this video we have quickly summarized and talk about different ways that we can create days, modify it, add it, subtract date, modify it, calculate difference between days and time in both approaches, procedure and object-oriented. Hopefully you guys find this helpful. Again, thanks for watching.